Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Faith, and today I'm going to be doing a thrifting tips for beginners slash anybody that likes thrifting, and this is kind of just my process when it comes to thrifting and things that I like to buy and look out for, and just tips for anybody that already thrifts or really wants to get into thrifting. I asked you guys in my last video if you guys wanted to see something like this, and a few of you guys said yes, so yeah, let's get started. Before I get started, I first wanted to point out a few things. So if you're selling on Depop, or just in general, if you want to know like what vintage pieces are, they are pieces 20 years and later. I know on Depop it can be deceiving because some things are labeled as vintage, but they're really not. It's not like it matters that much, but if you're trying to find like true vintage items, they are from 20 years and later. Another thing that I found, and this is a tip that I found from TikTok, and I really wish I could find that TikTok again, but I don't know if this is like I don't know if this is completely true, but a TikToker said that labels that are like this, like printed on the shirt, they are not like older pieces, like even from early 2000s. Like if you like Y2K, early 2000s things, 90s things, more vintage items, they will never be with labels that are on the shirt directly, and more with like labels like this. So I'm not sure if that's completely accurate, but I did see a TikTok on that and it does make a lot of sense. So ever since I've found that out, I have looked at like the labels and stuff like that when shopping for thrifted items. I also found a TikTok that I did save for finding like vintage Levi's, so I will put that right now.
Here's how to tell if your Levi's are actually vintage. Find the care label on the inside of the pants. Look for the second set of numbers in the second row. Mine say 1096, so October of 96. 1199 means these were made in November of 1999. Hope that helps.
Those are a few things that I wanted to say before starting this. Okay, so the first thing that I wanted to talk about are the things that I always bring to the thrift store. I love bringing my big Faye bag from Unif, just because I can like put it across my shoulders and like it's fine, like I don't even have to think about it. I also love bringing my headphones or AirPods. I love bringing those because I love listening to music. I also really recommend having a playlist, because like then you can just, you know, put your headphones in and just kind of like escape and be able to focus on picking the clothes. Also, for now, obviously I always bring a mask and gloves too, which I never really used to wear gloves, but with the pandemic going around, I started wearing gloves, but I think I'm gonna wear gloves like every time I go now, even after all this is over, just because like that's super smart and sanitary, it feels. I also recommend wearing comfy clothes, just because you're going to be walking around, standing for a while. You don't want to like be wearing like a super tight outfit or something that you don't feel comfortable in. I mean, I know people want to like look cute while they're thrifting, and you definitely can. Definitely recommend wearing comfy shoes and comfy clothes, just because like you'll just be much happier and want to spend the time there, rather than like being somewhere and like being super uncomfortable in your outfit and then wanting to speed the process and go home. My first tip is to be in the mood. So when I mean this, I mean be in a headspace where you want to be there, you want to spend and invest the time into looking through all the racks and going through everything, and make sure you allot yourself at least 2 hours. Not necessarily saying you'll spend 2 hours there, just so like you're not in a rush. There's definitely been times where I went thrifting and I didn't even like want to be there. I was just there because like I wanted to go thrifting, but I wasn't really in the mood to like stand there and like sort through all the racks and find something that I like. So make sure you're actually in the mood, because thrifting can take so long if you're really trying to find, you know, true vintage pieces, or just like have to go through everything because like all the hidden gems are all hidden in all those racks that you have to just go through everything. So make sure it's really important to be in the mood to be there. The next tip I have is to find inspiration. And so going on Pinterest or, you know, Instagram and stuff, just find inspiration, you know, get in the mood by looking at photos and wanting to expand your closet. That's why I love thrifting so much, because you can literally expand and experiment with your clothes, and it's so cheap to do it. I mean, now that thrifting is getting more like mainstream, I feel like it's getting a little more expensive, but if you, I truly recommend, if you're trying to experiment with your clothes or expand your closet, definitely thrifting is amazing, because you can get like 10 pieces for literally like $20, and you can just like experiment with so many different things. So find inspiration, whether it's from movies or photos or celebrities that you like. Try it on yourself, see what you like, see what you don't like on your body. And yeah, like if you are into like 70s fashion, just look up on Pinterest 70s fashion, see what the pieces look like, what the patterns they would do, the colors that they really liked, the like silhouettes that they used to love. And when you go to the thrift store, then you'll be able to have that as a reference for you, which is like always been really helpful for me, especially when I started moving my style from like more like, you know, trendy Forever 21 like Fashion Nova type of styles, which is completely fine though. Like that's the thing too, like you don't have to just like, you know, vintage type of clothes to shop there. Like you can literally like, you know, mainstream stuff. I don't even like labeling it like mainstream, but like, you know, like the trendier fast fashion type of styles, you can literally find those inspirations and find it at the thrift store too. So like I'm not just saying it's for like people that like more vintage clothes, but when I personally was transitioning from like more of that type of style to like, you know, 90s early 2000s type of style, I would always, you know, either look on Pinterest or from movies or from, you know, influencers that I really liked, like, you know, the type of silhouettes and, you know, just the style, and I found out brands, and that's how it really helped me. Also, like having specific pieces in mind really help guide me into what sections I should go for first, and like having like an actual goal in my head, you know what I mean? Like let's say like I really want to get like mom jeans. So if I want to get mom jeans, I'm gonna look at the women's jeans, I'm gonna look at the little boys jeans, the little girls jeans, and the men's jeans to try and find the perfect pair of mom jeans for me. And then after I'll have that off my checklist, I want, oh, like a ribbed tank, let's just say. I'll go through all of the shirts and all the sections, and like during the process of trying to find this specific item, I'll be finding other little gems that I also really like. So that's like kind of how I organize it, because it can be really overwhelming, like just walking in and seeing like all these racks. So that, I don't know if that made sense. Like I'm kind of just like, I have like it written in my notebook, but I'm kind of just like explaining it. So sorry if it's kind of confusing. Find out the days that the thrift store gets like new stock. I don't even know how to really like new clothes in, basically. Like for me, my favorite thrift day is Wednesday, because that's when all the new stuff comes in. I go early on Wednesday because I know all the new stuff is going to be there, and also it's really important to find sale days. Personally for me, I have Savers, which is like a kind of, I think it's like a chain, like I think it's Savers and Value Village. I think they're like owned by the same people, but I have like Savers, which is like more of like a bigger, obviously there's like them everywhere, so it's a little more expensive Savers, so that's really not my favorite thrift store. My favorite thrift store is like my local thrift store. It's a lot cheaper. Asian Army is also a really popular thrift store too, but I don't really have one that close to me, so I don't really go there. But obviously if I did, Buffalo Exchange I know is in the city, that's like a really popular one. I know just like also just like, you know, more trendy ones in like New York City or LA, but if you're kind of in a location that's not like a big city where you have like so many thrift stores to go to, I definitely recommend trying to find local thrift stores, because they're usually cheaper than like a Value Village or like a Savers. But obviously they're like Savers and Value Village are obviously cheaper than if you're gonna go to like Forever 21 or like Pakistan or something like that. I'm going to put right here a list of some of my favorite 90s brands, in case you guys like are into 90s fashion. I just have found out about these brands through Depop or just, you know, exploring the thrift store. I also recommend, if you want to get more familiar with brands or just like styles and silhouettes, look at like YouTubers, like of course Internet Girl. She really helped me form my style. That's why I'm really like inspired by her. Like, I mean, I know everybody that like thrifts and Depop and shit like that. She's like the queen of everything. But in general, I've learned a lot from her, from just watching her style bundles and just watching her hauls and just watching her videos and looking at her Depop, because she has taught me so much about 90s brands and, you know, like things that like they wore in the 90s. And like when she would like make bundles, she would show like, oh, this brand is called this and this is from the 90s, or like, oh, this is what dead stock is and stuff like that. So I really like, if you want to get into that, like watch YouTubers like that. Like, if you're interested in it, do your research, watch stuff. It's really entertaining to watch, and then all that, you know, information will just go into your head. Even Depop, like looking up like 90s brands on like the Depop search bar, I always do that, and then I like look through the stuff and like, oh, I think this is cute, what brand is this? And then I'll see the brand, and if I'm at the thrift store, I will like look out for that brand, you know what I mean? Or if I see something of that brand, I'm like, oh, like this is from this brand. My next tip is to just be open-minded. Don't go in there, I just want to get stuff from this brand, or I just want to get this specific type of style. Clothes mean so much to me because it's such a self-expression thing. So I love going into the thrift store and seeing something that's like super like weird and like crazy and like unique, and I'm like, okay, I want to make this work somehow. If it's too big, I can wear a belt. If you can sew, then don't care about the sizes, you can just adjust it and like sew it and fix it. If you can't sew, that's fine. Make a raw hem, make it oversized. Like honestly, just be super open-minded with everything and have fun. I love thrifting because it's so fun and I can express myself and I can be creative with my clothes. So don't be closed-minded about things, because something that you might not necessarily think you'd like, but you think is cool, I'd say try it on. And if you see a vision of it, then buy it. You really want to expand your closet. Thrifting is an amazing way to do it, to experiment with different eras. Like I feel like a lot of times people want to put themselves in like a category of like, oh, this is my style. My style is like this and it's concrete. But you should just experiment with whatever you want. If today you want to dress like a 90s mean girl or a 90s, you know, main character of a fucking rom-com, and then the next day you want to dress like you're from the 70s, and then the next day you want to, you know, have an all Fashion Nova fit, and then the next day you want to wear whatever. Like just experiment whatever you want. Don't put yourself in a box that you have to only wear this type of clothes, because you literally don't. It's your life, you can do whatever you want. So yeah, this is kind of a shorter video than I thought, but I hope this helped some people. If you have any questions or you need some advice on anything, please comment down below, or DM me on Instagram. I know thrifting is becoming more mainstream, and that's like an amazing thing. And yeah, I just wanted to make this video because I thought it would be helpful to some people that, you know, aren't really into thrifting, or just want to get into it, or is already into it and they just are curious about the way that I go across doing things. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in my next video.